it's so weird because the games have been so quick today. It's really messed with our sense of timing.
Yeah.
We had 3 really, well, they weren't necessarily all one-sided, all really quick.
I'm gonna be real with you. The last 2 years has messed with my sense of timing. It still feels like 2020 to me. My brain just can't function and like figure out time. Like we're almost at August.
It's okay.
Like, we're the end
time
of
is
June.
actually a human construct.
Yeah, true.
It's very strange. And I have a physics degree. I'm qualified to tell you that. I'm not going to qualify it with anything. I'm not going to tell you why, but I'll say what it is.
Well, I have a degree. Well, actually, I didn't even finish the degree. I've got a diploma in drumming. So I can
That's
tell
pretty cool.
I can tell you how to hit things.
So does that mean if I say a pun, you could do like the but like in a...
Well, if I had an actual drum kit on me, yeah. But
Okay.
I mean, you just did it with your mouth, so...
True. That's because I don't, that's because I don't have a diploma in drumming.
That was most of the stuff I did at uni, was just... No, my uni was insane. I had a... well, it was a music uni, so
Right.
a lot of...
Presumably, it would be quite strange to get a drumming...
musicians-
Well, it would be quite different to get like a drumming like diploma from somewhere that wasn't about music.
Yeah, no, we did it at maths college, mate. I mean, there's a lot of mathematics to it, to be fair.
True.
Like,
I actually did some things about drums in my physics degree because you know it's really difficult to actually perfectly model a drum because it's got 3 different areas of like axes of movement. It's almost impossible to do real time, which is why it's always useful to have a real drum kit over like a synthesizer one.
and for any drummer who's watching, and myself obviously included, can tell you, a real drum kit just feels better.
Yeah.
It just feels so much better. Anyway, do you know what feels good? League of Legends,
Yeah,
baby!
League of Legends, woo!
All right, so Bifrost versus Vanir right now. I'm curious to see how this goes down. It's our second Udyr of the day. I know Trouble's been fairly passionate about how much he hates it. Obviously, Dan on XL pulled it out earlier and made it work very, very well. This time, it is into the Kalista. Last time we had the Kalista with him. So I'm curious to see how that's going to work, because typically, the biggest counter to Kalista is hard CC. If you can just lock her in place, you can absolutely melt her. Flash bear slap onto OD.
But it doesn't have the flash, it's the ghost. And that's the first thing I noticed. Because I sat there going like, well, that kind of helps in like early game duels, because you run into the Udyr and he just walks you down with so many auto attacks. Even on the lethal tempo, right? It's really good dueling potential. But that isn't going to help you against the Kalista, who's going to hop away from you, is going to have a Nautilus blocking, and it's not going to help against the gravity field. I think that Victor, against most of the enemy composition, is, as the desk was saying, kind of problematic, right? Because you've got the Xayah that kind of outranges you with feathers. It's going to be the crit Xayah, so it makes it a little better. It's not going to be the poke QE combo, which is kind of difficult for you. Camille can get on top of you quite easily, but that Udyr is going to have an awful time. That is the one thing which Victor really brings to this composition. It devalues Creox's impact on the game once you get into larger and larger confrontations. So that's what I'm starting to look for from Fury, and see how much he can limit the impact of that Udyr as one of the big go buttons from Vanir, as you were saying, that targeted CC onto Kalista.
Yeah, and I guess the kind of big workaround here for the Victor as you get into these big confrontations is planning and foresight, getting the vision down, finding good angles to come in with a flank, because he can gravity field one spot. He can't gravity field multiple spots, and especially if we get the likes of you know, I mean, a Mountain Soul obviously is going to increase the value of the Victor because there's more tight chokeholds to walk through. We're not going to have an Infernal map, so you know, there's less ways to kind of quickly find a quick cut around. So it's kind of about that foresight and planning and preparing. So you know Dragon's coming up. Okay, let's get vision around the red side jungle, figure out where we can get our Camille and our Udyr to come in multiple angles, and then Victor can only really stop one of those.
So, let's again talk about angles. It has been the real talk. It's something which I've talked about actually a lot with a lot of these team compositions, even over the last 2 years, really, when we have had a lot of objective fights where it has come down to choosing your terrain well. You talked about that in regards to different Soul Rifts, but just in general, making sure you've warded out certain options, certain angles, so they can't just sneak up on you with a flank, and someone like a Camille can obviously make massive use of that Rakan, similar kind of thing, and that will be a big factor in this game. Of course, we're not nearly at the point where we have to start talking about 5v5s yet. Got an early game to go through just so far, and Creox has started to make some moves.
Yeah, just a little bit here. His Highway's going to take a whole bunch of damage, but he's going to be okay. Do you know, it's funny, you know, when you're at school, you're learning about angles. You don't expect them to be applied in this way, right? Like, you don't think about it in this way. But you know what we're still not using? Algebra. I've not used any algebra here, man. I'm just saying, it's a waste of time.
I'm trying to think if I... So, the only
you
way...
did physics, so you're a little bit niche.
I feel like at this point, I just sit here and I'm like, God, I gotta make this useful for something. What do I do? I've spent so much time on it. You can use it to find the optimal way to make a certain length of fence into a really high area, like cattle pen. So if you need to make like...
If you needed a cattle pen?
Well, I haven't yet. I might do at some point in the future.
Yeah, just so you know, freaks actually pay us in cattle.
Oh,
So,
right, yeah.
It actually might be quite useful.
You know, that's how it works over here. I've got beef with so many people now. I've got so much cattle. Oh, God.
Invoice cattle.
If anyone has any inventive ideas of how to use algebra in modern life, I'd quite like to learn at this point. It'd be quite nice. Did it for a very long time.
I pity you on that. I mean, I was horrific at maths. I was so bad at maths.
Yeah.
I passed my maths GCSE on my 4th attempt.
Oof. It's a bit
Weirdly
of
enough, I'm dyslexic, and I actually did really well in English.
Well, the thing is that there are different ways that it can kind of evolve itself in terms of reading speed and then also comprehension of numbers. Multiple ways it can kind of manifest itself.
Yeah.
Speaking from experience as someone who oddly can get a bit confused by numbers sometimes. Really chose a weird direction in life, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. You did.
Well, now I'm here casting video games and watching this early game be a little quiet, which is also why we've not really talked about the game as much. I promise we are actually looking at the screen, and most of it has been quite nullifying. It's been very even across all of our lanes. Kriox has been getting a bit of vision into the enemy jungle. Again, we can see some red side wards about the place, but that's it. We're 7 minutes in, and we haven't really had more than that, even though you expect a little bit from the Udyr. Kriox has been doing what Udyr, not Udyr, well, yes, Udyr definitely on that kind of thing, but Olaf used to do in terms of just hyper clear, go really, really fast through the jungle, and then just have like 30 seconds to a minute to respond to the map and see if anything happens. He's not here to respond in bot lane.
Good hook into the flash, but Merbs is able to get away. They do burn a flash there from Merbs. Zambera actually... nice to hold his own flash, let Merbs flash, and then jump to Merbs. Yeah. It's okay for Merbs to burn flash. Typically, an AD carry losing flash is pretty rough, but Merbs is not too far from 6. Once you got that Feather Storm, it's not quite as impactful in that sense, but it is a get out of jail card as Diamond steals away on Gromp.
Takes that one away from Vanir's bot lane. That had just backed off because they're like, well, we're going to lose this next wave to tower. Maybe they're looking for a dive. Didn't expect Diamond Procs to actually be just around the corner in terms of waiting for that bot side, and he is still here. He's got an ignite on him.
Can Zambera live? The heal has kept him alive as Diamond is taking so much damage. Ericsson decides he's not going for it. Gonna catch the rest of this farm and this tower here. But they may just come for the old switcheroo now that Zambera is flashing Igniteness and Ignite less and has actually been forced onto a reset. There is a world where they could go for a dive. Kriox is using this opportunity to just strip the jungle away. But Merbs should be able to hold on to this tower. Should be getting 6 fairly soon as well, so it's going to be even harder.
Yeah, we're back in the 2021 jungling, 2020 jungling, where it's just like, yep, okay, cool. Power farming it is. Just run all the way through the jungle, and you start losing control of one side, and you spend too much time on one side of the map, you lose a quadrant of the jungle, and then suddenly one of these hyper-clearing junglers gets ahead of the curve. Heck, we even kind of saw that last game with the Graves versus the Wukong. Graves goes through a quadrant, suddenly you're 2 levels down, because that's kind of led into a couple of different advantages for the enemy jungler, and Diamond Procs did manage to blow all 4 summoners in bot lane. That's definitely worthwhile. It's definitely something, and of course stole away a Gromp as well. You know, so it's not like you're not falling behind in complete total farm. But still, seeing this Udyr kind of just hoovering up different jungle camps means that is something to track as the game goes on and see if Kriox can use that individual lead for anything.
Diamond is on a ward, and they've actually brought Zambera over, but it looks like Vanir are quite happy to give this up. They are happy with the way that actually the jungles is going as Zambera goes from a full top side clear, there we go, into the bot side, and now he's just going to strip away even more jungle camps.
Whoever continues. Fear the mighty suction power of Udyr's hoovering of jungle camps. He even counters jungles. The bargain bucket leaves one Raptor to stop that recall, the reset rather, the respawn. Right,
there we go. Words are hard.
They can be. Diamond Procs is going to see that one, able to at least clear that out, so it's not going to be left on a very long... Wait, buddy, friend. He might actually just be walking down bot side to try and look for a play on the timer. Maybe they Maybe trying to play around a tight timing course. Has the Herald, maybe just wants to run straight bot and use this before Vanir know anything's up.
Yeah, they're coming out with a Hex Flash, actually. Merbs does have the Feather Storm. Is just going to pop it to dodge away on the ultimate. Nice little bailout. Could come out in time, but it won't. Diamondprox has been denied a lot of jungle, but will be able to get himself first blood. Herald can get placed here as well. They do have Creox. If Creox decides to move down, it looks like he's going to do so as he catches Diamondprox, actually, and the Ghost has been popped. Diamond has to be so careful here, but Creox pops that Ghost, and they are going to get the plates. They are going to get the gold and get away with it, really. So Vanir, actually, Creox has been having a very good jungle path and very good jungle like 1v1 in that sense.
The individual leads are going well for Creox. I can definitely understand that, but now we're looking at, once again, Odie being made into a Kalista Wrecking Ball. We've seen this multiple times from Bifrost. Last time I personally saw it was versus Eminem in that crazy late game fiesta. But before that, it was a hugely impactful early game from Bifrost to get Odie to 5-1. Crazy turret plays, crazy farm advantage. So Bifrost are well practiced at getting their AD carry ahead and relevant in the game. It has been, as you were saying, at the cost of Diamondprox's jungle, and he's not even going to get the Raptor respawn because he didn't clear that out. Fury, you're going to spot that, buddy. This is a little sad. The individual advantage is going to continually go over to Creox.
This is not great for them. Creox has that smite up and available, and I think Vanir should be able to finish this one up. There it is. Hook goes wide. Creox may just have to sacrifice his life. He has no ghost, but they find a cheeky knock-up, and Creox goes down. A pick-up there as Highway is sent up into the face of Zambera and Ericsson. They've got the hook. They've got the follow-up, and Bifrost. Jungle might not be going well, but the problem for Vanir is everything else is actually going pretty smoothly.
The Highway, making like it's deep purple, screams across that fight as a Highway star right into that backline. And you can see the power of this Kalista into even something like the Azir. You look at Kalista, it has trouble when you're standing in the Azir's shoulders. Finally cleared out. But when you have the Kalista ultimate, you can't stand and fight around your soldiers. So Vanir peeling off of that dragon weren't really in a position to fight. And because Bifrost can so quickly change the area which the fight is played around, they can take these big fights. Really look at how they threaten Vanir on the retreat, because it's all well and good. Ericsson is here starting to set up soldiers. Cool, but what happens when you only get 2 autos off? You can't sit there and put down soldiers forever. You've only got so many charges. You're not even in a position to defend that. Bifrost walk in, get themselves a couple of kills, and as you were saying, while some things in terms of individual advantages in that jungle aren't going well for Bifrost, everything else is turning up pretty strongly. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, this is actually resulting in a 3,000 gold lead over to the side of Bifrost. Obviously, those tower plates in that first tower blood definitely going to be paying tribute towards that. Vanir now do have to look towards, okay, we've played for Dragon Soul, and then the prize of that is a Cloud Soul. So it's like, it's not awful. Udyr actually quite likes it because it slows down his internal cooldowns. But even so, it's not the greatest Drake for them to kind of be heavily invested.
Does it do that anymore since it changed back to the slow resist and the out of combat moves?
Oh,
does it do that anymore? Because it used to when it was ultimate haste. Now, I'm not sure, let's be honest, a couple of things have tended to go missing from minute patch changes. Occasionally, champions have ended up retaining some buffs from periods of time where they probably don't need them anymore. But
yes, you are correct.
So the observers ended up highlighting the individual gold. I'm not going to ask them to go back to it because you'll have to take my word. Okay, they're so kind today. But you can see there, even though the XP advantage was over the Creox for so long, gold advantage massively in favor of Diamondprox. Well, not massively. Okay, it's in favor of Diamondprox. I was just looking for a word on top of that. Surprisingly in favor of Diamondprox. Of course, gets that kill, a couple of assists, gets some plate gold on top of it. The Wukong is starting to get items. That's not the best position for Vanir to be in.
No, not at all. As Ericsson actually gets a Chaos Storm onto him. This is more just to zone him off the wave.
Well, it's kind of unfortunate because you see that they've just used that Shifting Sands, just used that E. So Ericsson can't go and disengage from the Chaos Storm. If you have to sit and just walk through the Chaos Storm, of course that's pretty bad for you. So Fury thinks that he's found a kind of an opening to punish Ericsson, but with the slow landing from the Azir Q, it doesn't really get as much as he would have liked.
Oh my word, Dream Pool does hurt. We haven't really looked at the top lane.
Haven't.
Top lane, I mean, today top lane has been a little bit quiet, other than our last game where we had a swap.
We had a Tryndamere do some work.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I guess.
Had a Tryndamere.
Laning fight effect.
Okay, laning phase is like, yeah, they're just kind of there.
A little bit underwhelming for them. Diamondprox is basically the third man in this bot lane. Wherever Highway and ODR, Diamondprox is normally about, and Merbs is suffering for it.
Hear me out. We have a Mountain Dragon. we have an ocean dragon. Why not have an island dragon, which only affects top laners? Wouldn't that be a fun idea? Top laners get like 10% serotonin. Wow, you feel good for being left alone by the rest of your team.
It puts a wall up, and the game is just like, you've either got a
Island
gank by
rift.
going to your base and walking up and then reset.
It's like top laners, when you get the soul, just have like a Jarvan Cataclysm just circle around them at all times. Come and get me now! Leave me to 1v9!
I feel so bad for Skarner mains. They have to flash over the wall to get in. I'm sure a lot of top laners would be quite happy with that.
Yeah, I'm sure many would find that very entertaining. Well, you know, you heard it here first if that ever ends up hitting the development pathway. But
Yeah, me and Jamada were talking about dragon ideas years ago, and I
Yeah.
mentioned an ice dragon.
right.
And like, it basically kind of ended up being what Hexdrake is. Like, it
Yeah,
has
with like a
slow on it.
slow or something.
But we had the idea of it, like, you'd be quicker on the river because it's like ice, but your character would like slide.
Oh, that'd be so
it'd be like team
cool.
fights. People would be sliding around if you fought at Baron and Dragon.
That reminds me of a mini game I used to play on the PS1. It was a Crash Bandicoot game, Crash Bash, where it was like one of the big like icicles, knock them off the arena kind of things. That's what it reminded me of first. Like, yeah, it's slide around the rift. Be horribly unbalanced. I imagine playing like 1,000 boost speed champion on that. Rammus just flies up into the horizon.
Just slides into the top lane. Anyway, we're going to see this Rift Herald actually get placed down here in the mid lane, and potentially Bifrost might look for a little bit more. Herald is the only thing really tanking tower, though, so it should be able to get cleared out fairly quickly. As the depth charge just gets thrown down, and the tower will go out. So it's just going to be the mid lane tower for now, but the dragon is up. So maybe we might see some attention go towards this dragon.
We're starting to see some real problems from Vanir at this point. They actually haven't achieved anything with Camille into Gnar, which is typically a preferential matchup once you get a bit of golden pocket. Kriox hasn't achieved anything in terms of actual helping out his team on the Udyr, so these lanes are stable at best. And now you're getting to the point where you have to respond to Bifrost in the 5v5, which is what we said, oh, you know, we're not there yet. Well, we are here now. Theory, putting down those Chaos Storms, putting down those Grav Fields, make it so hard for Kriox to find that engage, which kind of leaves Zaremba to do it alone if Dream pulls on a side lane. And Vanir don't win out in situations where that's the case.
You know what Vanir have got a lot of?
What have they got a lot of?
A lot of animals. There's 3 birds on this pack.
But they don't have a crab.
They don't have a crab, no.
Maybe if we leave it 30 minutes, they all evolve towards the same crustacean.
1 crab bird, please. Let's see what animals you guys have got at home.
Oh,
that's Archerom's dog.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, it's so
Poga
precious.
is adorable.
We have more. I'm going to start pressing loads of buttons. Let's see what other pets we've got here. Oh
my gosh.
little kitty. Look at the Tobies.
You know what? This
Tobies.
has been the best addition to the broadcast we've ever had. I love seeing so many of these pets. This is wonderful.
Wait, has he got trousers on?
Is that
He's got a pair of boxer shorts on.
I was wondering if that was that,
Might be
or
like a
like a nappy.
Yeah, it might be a nappy.
Yeah, sometimes your pets do. I am so happy we saw all of those pets. Thank you so much for showing us your animal friends.
I don't care about your opinions on our league and what teams you like. I care about your dog and your pets. That's what I care about. Someone did tweet at me, and I've asked for it to get shown up, so hopefully we'll bring it up later in the broadcast, because someone has something to do with the conversation we were having last game, actually.
We'll save it.
Merv, though, might not be a pet that's that loved. Goes out for a quick Feather Storm to dodge away on the depth charge and the Cyclone. So, you know, 2 ults burnt for 1. Vanir probably kind of okay with that, but Diamond Prox and the rest of Bifrost just getting the inside track on this mid lane.
Yeah.
They should be able to get here in time, although actually Highway kind of gatekeeping them in the jungle, so they may lose their mid lane tower for this.
You know, we were talking about a little bit of that terrain control before in terms of actually how do you can't control all angles, X, Y, Z, but with Bifrost getting control of the map, getting vision, being able to push up in that mid lane, you get to actually fight around the sides instead. Dreampul's trying to force the issue though.
Yeah, but he's gonna get
my gosh.
Use the Hextech ultimatum to get away. The hook shot, no! Diamond Proc gets him with the monkey bop. They have to put up the tower, and now Zambera's running away from the
Zaremba.
team. And he will go down. The tower from Ericsson will buy a little bit of time, but Vanir, they got bored of waiting. They wanted to pick up the tempo, and they paid the price for it heavily.
And Bifrost have so much control at this point. As we were just talking about, they have control over the territory they want to fight around. They're pushing up in mid. They're forcing Vanir to come at them from these small jungle entrances, which Vanir obviously don't want to do into the Victor, into so many other of these champions. So Vanir try and change that up, but it's not clinical enough. Dreampul is too disconnected from his team. The timing's off. Bifrost sniff it out, and Dreampool is just left to really sit there and bear the brunt of the mistaken timing from Vanir. And Dreampool, of course, came in for Hesero in this game.
Yeah.
The Hesero was subbed out. We were looking for Dreampool. Has had a quiet game so far. Not necessarily always a negative thing, but this one is not a good look for that Camille. Really sad eventuality there as they're just a little disconnected from their team.
That was, I think, just a little bit too deep of a TP.
I think it's the right play. I will say, I think it's the right play.
Yes.
I think that's the right call because you can't, as we were saying, fight around those jungle entrances. It just seems like both sides of the equation there in Vanir weren't quite on the same side of the coin, same page, whatever. But
I didn't done their algebra in preparation.
We found the algebra.
Haven't been able to put X and Y together and turn that into a kill so far as Vanir might just be losing another member as Monkey will send them sliding, but Ericsson looks to take him down and Monkey. Down goes Ericsson, a cheeky pick up there for Diamond Prox's third kill of the game.
Our battle will be legendary. It lasts like 3 seconds. That's it. I want my movie tickets back. Give me Kung Fu Chicken 3 or whatever.
Kung Fu Chicken.
We don't have a panda in this game. It's the best I've got.
We don't have a panda. Riot, what are we doing? We're literally you're releasing Samira again. Why aren't you releasing a panda?
Oh, we could. Well, there is Panda Annie. There is Annie.
I mean, it's kind of close, I guess. It's not the same. I want a dedicated panda.
I actually want a dedicated panda. Maybe we could get a new skin out of it.
His whole thing is he sits on the fountain and eats bamboo. He doesn't get in on the rift at all.
Oh, at least he's not hibernating like the rest of the bears.
It'd be a good bard skin. Panda bard.
Well,
it's chimes and bamboo, and because he's never around, he's always just rolling around doing his own thing. It's the perfect champion for a panda skin.
Oh my god.
Yeah, by the way, this is
so
a
much
21-minute game with 6 kills. That's why we're talking about these kinds of things.
Oh my god. I wish I had more to say about this, but legitimately, again, like, we've kind of said what needs to be said. Bifrost, they are controlling terrain, they are making sure that they have the engage options of it, are just, again, starved of options, as we've seen many of our losing teams be today. It has actually seemed like the story of most of our games today have been, you get ahead and you just silence the enemy team's options. You get vision, you get to just play around the area of the map that you want to, and it feels like on the losing end, our teams haven't quite had the same creativity as we would need to see from them to really come back in these games.
Yeah, unfortunately for Vanir, every attempt has been, on paper, a good attempt, but
yeah, it's the right choice. The
thing with Bifrost is they have a lot of single target CC. There's a lot of crowd control.
And they have a lot of gold.
And they have, yeah, they do. They also do have some fairly large wallets. It's not going to be a perfect game, though, as Vanir will be able to pick up their second tower, along with the fact that they've got 2 dragons as well. So it's not the perfect game by Bifrost, but it's pretty clear, it's pretty crisp, it's pretty clean. And also, sometimes a perfect game does involve sacrificing something so you don't sacrifice something bigger. And I think that's what Bifrost have done this game is, you know, they didn't contest those dragons because it would have just been a big mistake and this game could have slipped away from them. So it's easier to lose a dragon than a couple of teammates.
And what's happened in this game, which we can get back to our panda talk after if you want, but I'll definitely want to say this.
I'm out of panda facts.
I mean, one thing, pandas are legitimately the only bears that don't hibernate because they literally have such a bad diet that they don't have enough energy to hibernate. It's really interesting.
Do you know, I love how you're like,
okay, look, one more thing. Look, I really like how Bifrost have been consistent. They're looking to fight.
Oh, they are, and that panda bear slap ain't gonna do anything. Odie able to find the kill, the 7th kill. It's just 23 minutes.
It's just, this is just really easy League of Legends from Bifrost. They're playing it out so consistently, which is something that we've asked for them from this split. They've had a couple of awkward communication issues partway through this split, particularly in their 3 losses. They've looked a little disconnected. This one has been really by the book. We haven't really had to say much about Bifrost in terms of what they could be doing to improve because they've continually just been playing towards what their comp wants to do, and they've been rolling through Vanir without too much opposition right now. That's the word.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is what happens when a movable force gets met by a movable object.
Well, Vanir are continuing to stumble back towards the ropes on this one, and after what was a very hard-fought victory for them, or rather, well, a very important victory for them, versus Noriki to get them up to that 3-5 scoreline, it would have been such a good thing to cap off this first round of the NLC, the first round robin, to get themselves onto 4 and 5. As it stands, it does look like Bifrost are going to be walking away to get sole position of third place, I believe, behind Riddle, and then, of course, them behind JDXL above them. But they will be clear of Astralis and Dusty, who just evened up their own scores coming at the end of the first round of the NLC Summer 22. So Bifrost would be good for them to kind of keep themselves up towards those top of the standings. Of course, last split finished in that second spot, losing out to X7. 2 series in that last playoffs, but again, still a team to really be feared in this scene they're showing.
Oh yeah, completely. We got 2 minutes until that dragon spawns up. I think we'll probably see some...
Craig, what random animal facts can we fill 2 minutes with? Oh, he's actually thinking about it. Okay, I'm interested in this now.
No. Brain, no work. Cats do sweat. That's a rumor.
Well, I know that a lot of animals do sweat, but humans sweat more, which is why we would just run marathons. That's what we did back in the day. Now, I couldn't run a marathon, but I know that we are built to.
Yeah.
Which means I'm failing in my primary function.
Cheetahs pant as well.
Huh. I thought that cheetahs also... Oh, no, it might be leopards, actually, that used to, like, hide things up trees to go eat later.
Really?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember which one it was. It's cheetah or leopard?
Spiders of the cat world. Squirreling it away.
The spiders of the cat world. Again, that feels like a brand new sentence. I feel like not many things... I feel like that has not been said before. Maybe it has, but...
Yeah, it's literally the first person to say spiders of the cat. To be honest, 90% of the things I say, I'm pretty sure I'm the only person that's ever said those.
And that's why I'm still here, captivated by whatever's going to be said next, as we are waiting again for this next fight on the Rift. It has been a measured affair. It's not been explosive necessarily, but Bifrost doing it by the book.
It kind of feels...
teleport into this.
It kind of feels like a Nexus explosion waiting room, this game. Unfortunately, Vanir kind of running out of options here, as the inhibitor tower has been left exposed. They've got 2 super minions topside as well, so someone, i.e. Dreampool, is going to have to go handle that, meaning the mid lane inhibitor will be left exposed. And Bifrost, they're in the base. They didn't even need Baron to do so. They can go off and get Baron and Dragon if they want, or they can maybe just look to pressure.
And of course, because, you know, we're conservationists here, there is no fighting allowed. We're not allowed to... again, there are too many animals on the other side. This is all about species protection, I suppose.
Pretty sure Vestians are not a particularly common folk in
no, they're not.
Runeterra, so...
Well, we talked a little bit about the Rune King game earlier. There's a lot of stuff about the Vistani, which are Ari speaking now. Obviously, which is my thing.
Oh, so is Rakan, mate, and they're on the Rift.
Yes, but they weren't... So they're obviously a different tribe of Vistaya.
Yes.
So they didn't have direct lore in Rune King.
Is it true that Wukong's dating Ari?
I believe it's not true.
That's some copium. He's having some serious copium.
I believe that's not true because of stuff which happens, which I won't spoil, in other things.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so, well... We'll see about that one.
Anyone, obviously, you can't see his face. When I mentioned that, I genuinely saw pain in his eyes. Like, actual pain in the eyes.
Stop putting me on blast like this, dude. We've got the Baron being started. Unity DPS down, Vanir. Can they get a Baron steal? That might be a ticket into some kind of miracle for them. It's a long shot, but Baron flips have been known to do great and terrible things. There's no flash on Kriegers to get into the pit, though.
Oh, what a depth charge. What a Nata follow-up as they jumping in. Looking to keep this fight going. There's a lot of feathers down. Everybody's being pulled in place. Highway has jumped forward, but down goes Kriegers. Highway has to jump away as the feather storm comes out. There's a lot of feathers remaining on that ground once again by Merz. If he can find a good one, it could be huge. The flash, the reposition, the feathers don't quite hit the dragon. Sorry, the elder, whatever it was. The worm is down. Ericsson will fall as well as Bifrost find the team fight victory, and a pair of birds will run back to safety, run back to the fountain, but a scuba diver is hunting them. Oh no, the bird is not the word. He's going to interrupt them, but he will lose his life. But the base is in ruins. Tower number 1 goes down. Tower number 2 will be quick to follow. It was a very reserved game there from Bifrost, but they made it work, and they find themselves the victory.
Meticulous is the word I'd use.